Hey, it's Jojo Wright. What's up, guys? Dude, this, him, you, that's Lauren. It is a pleasure to meet you.
Great to see you, man. Thanks for having me on the
Of
show.
course. We've been talking off camera, and I have a bad habit of like it's time to do this interview, but I start talking, and we get to going before the camera starts rolling. So I feel like I've already got to know you a
Right,
little bit
right,
here,
right.
So you're from Seoul,
Yes.
obviously. But you were telling me just a couple of seconds ago that like everything's happening so fast. That you said you were in the studio a couple of months back, with your boys, aka the band and friends, and I guess it was a bit of a weight on your shoulders, like, man, what, it's like it's about to happen, or what? Give me that, that moment.
So the context is, my lead guitarist and drummer, we didn't like audition, but we kind of like searched through mutual friends, and we're like, who's like a really good drummer that because I was, you know, searching for like a proper band to kind of like perform with.
Right.
But the two other friends, I always call them my kids. Like they don't like it, but I keep it like my kids. And some people freak out. You're like, you got kids? Like, no, you just like. But those guys were actually like just my boys from like back home. Like I've known them since I was like 18. Um, and I had this music video idea where I kind of wanted to pull my friends in, and they would, just kind of mime it, like pretend like they're playing.
Right.
And then they liked it so much that they actually kind of wanted to do it like professionally. And so I started like teaching them, and they had more talent than I thought.
So you were thinking like, oh, this is gonna, what the heck? What am
Yeah,
I doing?
I was like planning like, so how do I disappoint them, in a polite manner? Like how do I tell them, like, yeah, go home. No, but they're actually really good. So they just kind of became like my members, like, and I like that the relationship that we have is very like organic because we're friends for like 10 years.
You got to be friends because we're talking about bands. We'll get to that in a second, but if you don't have some sort of connection or love, or just be able to tolerate each other,
Right,
I
right,
mean,
right.
something's going to crumble
Right.
down the road.
All the
right?
way, all the way.
We were talking like you're a big fan of just rock in general and the early 2000s among other eras, and Oasis. Speaking of like bands staying together, like you don't want to get to that point where you guys hate each other. Like the Oasis, the Gallagher brothers.
Right, right, right.
They're ready to. Hopefully they'll get back together. It's not to stray too far off topic, but how do you avoid that? Not killing each other, but still staying. Still going at it.
Um, there's that tweet where they're planning on like maybe getting back together.
You said that, yeah.
Yeah, Liam kind of like confirmed it, but I mean, hopefully.
Right.
But for one, it's like if they ever pull that, I'd be like, how dare you? But far from that, yeah, I do want the friendship to kind of, it's always hard like balancing friendship and like I guess like professional like doing music together, but apart from the first album, which I did everything myself, I'm trying to get them to participate in the second album so that they do feel like they're like a part of the
Like in the
group.
writing sense and
Right,
whatnot?
right, right. Because I think me kind of like not forcing, but like feeding them what to play, like I'm very specific. I'm like, play this, I like transcript stuff and I just give it to them. And I think if they take part in like the writing process as well, it'll feel a lot more like personal, I guess. And I
Right.
do want them to kind of have that sense.
So you want them to kind of run with it to a
Yes,
degree.
yes, yeah.
I've been told that it's easier to, what's the phrase? It's easier to hold someone like, whoa, slow down, as opposed to going, hey, come on, do it.
Right,
So
right,
you want them to
right,
kind
right.
of take the bull by the horn, so to speak, I guess.
Yeah,
and kind
yeah,
of run.
yeah. I think that's
Do you
very
think
well
they will?
said. They weren't doing much, before the band.
Right.
I don't know if I'm like kind of talking bad on them like on camera, but like it wasn't like they were like thriving on something,
Right.
So I was just kind of telling them like, if you guys are gonna like bet on something, like, because I do think an occupation is kind of a bet, you're betting on like success or whatever. I was like, it might not work, but can you guys like bet on me, like, because I think my music is great, it's okay, and I think I might get somewhere with this, so like, kind of take your chances with me, and like, so far so good, so I think they're very happy.
You know what? There's some sort of, the fact that you love them so much, and the fact that I think, do they want it? If they want it, I think the problem's going to solve itself. The way you guys,
Oh,
the way you
the-
seem to talk.
They're like almost more ambitious than me, they're like,
Good.
yeah, I do this to like rock the world, and I'm like, bro, like slow down, like you've been playing for like a year. But I think it also helps that they kind of look the part, you know. So when we're like just hanging out, like we do look like a, you know, like a band from like, you know, like the relationship, like just us like kind of chilling and stuff. It looks very real because it is, you know. And like for I think almost all of them is like our first time in the States, like first time like flying out to do like a proper show, and you know I think they were very excited to, you know, perform. So
And this is your first time to Los Angeles, right?
first time Los Angeles, first time in the States.
Wow.
I mean I was here, you know, for the layover, but you know I didn't get to leave the airport. So first time in LA,
What do you
and
think so far?
it's great, man. It's I know I keep saying this, but you know Grand Theft Auto kind of made me very familiar with like the architectural.
Oh, that's what you meant, like the actual like Grand Theft Auto, meaning they replicate some of the streets in the game.
Yeah, no, because the Grand Theft Auto game that I played a lot, and it's basically like LA, like just, you know,
Yeah,
the
I know the game. Yeah, I know that one. Yeah, I have that one.
yeah. So and I used to play, you know, I used to play it like crazy, and so when I like you know drove from the airport to our Airbnb or like house or whatever, it was kind of wild to, you know, see it in person. It's like I'm kind of in like VR or something.
That's
like that.
wild.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
I recall playing that. I forget which game it was. I know GTA, but trying to find my house. I know my house is not on GTA, but trying to head up, you know, because I live up a little bit north of
Oh,
LA,
yeah,
in
yeah.
like Santa Clarita, which is where like Six Flags. It's a theme park up there.
Right.
If you're from LA and I said Six Flags, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, it's crazy to drive around in GTA and live in LA. Going,
Oh,
I
yeah,
know that
that
so
must be wild.
it is nuts, you know. So okay, let's talk your music, because, and by the way, we had this guitar here, dude. I want you to teach me how to play guitar in a few moments. But it took me. I have a guitar at my house. I don't play at all. My wife makes fun of me because that's my intent. I got a guitar. I want to learn to play it, and I haven't done it, you know. But it's sitting at the house. And when I got to the station here, I thought, man, I should have brought it because I need a guitar. It took us forever to find this guitar, and the guitar and the amp don't even go together. It's, you know, but hopefully I want to see, kind of teach me a note,
Right.
anything, you know, whatever.
I mean, I hope I don't embarrass myself, man, because I'm not a good player at all. But you know, which means I'm not too far from where I started. So I think it might work.
Man, well, your music though, I mean, describe it. And I ask this question to a lot of artists, and it's tough to verbally describe a sound without actually hearing the sound.
Right.
But yeah, I guess just we can give it a shot. How would you describe what you do?
You know, I think there are like a lot of forms of creation or like expression, and I don't think one is like better than the other, but at least as far as, you know, the first album goes, like Put Up a Fight is something that I solely created in my room. Like I played all my instruments and wrote all my lyrics and, you know, whatnot. So it really does feel like a part of me, you know, like as corny as it is, it's like literally like a little piece of me.
Right.
So it's wild to think that that's like finally, you know, coming out to the world, and like, you know, I get to hear other people's like opinions on it. So I guess it's very like personal, if I had to like use one word. Like it's just different aspects, or like I call them like canned memories, because, you know, it's like you feel something and like I kind of don't want it to waste it. So I
Right.
put them in like a little tuna can or something, and then, you know, I can always go back to it and like it'll kind of be preserved.
Like a time capsule. Like, this is what was going on in my life
That's
in
actually
2020.
a way better way to say it. Awesome.
Please. But I would, you know, when you put out a song that's so personal and an album that's so personal, or EP rather, I'm sorry, it's like turning your kid loose
Very,
into
very.
the world,
Yes.
and a bit nerve-wracking as well, I would
Right.
think, right? Or is it?
It's very nerve-wracking. You know, I was very between like having confidence, you know, over my music, which I think derives a lot from like just the amount of effort that I put into it. But other times it's like I can't hear it. I hate it. You know, so it's like that conflict between, you know, self-hatred and like, you know, it's like I'm a fucking genius to like I am worthless and like I should die tomorrow.
And does that friction kind of create the spark in a way? Like, I hate it, I love it, I hate it, I love it.
I think so. I think I definitely, you know, I think having both is important, because if I just hate it all the time, then I'll just, you know, kind of give up. But if I like it all the time, I don't think that helps me like progress or evolve into like a better musician or whatever.
Fair point. I had a guy from Coldplay, talking to Coldplay. It wasn't Chris. I forget which one of the guys said it, but he said after they do the track, after they put it out, he can't hear it anymore.
Oh,
Because
I totally get that.
yeah, because he said he said because he thinks, man, I should have changed that, or why is this so high or that's so low, and it makes him nuts.
Perfect.
So is that similar, I guess?
Very, and you know, like you jump into like a friend's car and you like play your music, and it's like it just doesn't sound right, like even balance wise, or like, you know, like my vocals don't sound good. And then you keep telling him like, dude, I swear, like it sounds better in the studio. Like can you like drive there? Like I'll prove it to you. You know?
Right.
But every time I hear a really cool song, or like even like a song that's just like mixed sonically really well, I always go back to my music to like compare, which isn't really a good habit, I think.
Yeah, because you're
Once
like,
the song is done anyways, you know, I think it's great like when you're in the process, but it's like, you know, it's mastered already, like the album's coming out. Like what am I gonna do about it, right? But
beat yourself up, which
right,
is
right.
unhealthy to a degree, you know.
Very.
I get the drive, but you gotta, you know, you can't. Yeah, give yourself a pat on the back. You're doing something right. I mean, clearly, you know. I mean, if do you believe in 88 Rising? Obviously, you just
Very.
congrats, by the way. They didn't sign you thinking, man, this guy sucks.
I mean,
yeah, so they clearly, so at least if you have those moments, you know that they among other people, they know something. I mean, you know it, I know. But you have the ups and downs.
I appreciate that, man. Yeah, so you know, it's you know, people at 88 Rising are so like cool, and I've been such a fan of their work. It's like it's very flattering, and it does give me a certain sense of like reassurance or empowerment in the fact that they do believe in what I do. And you know, it's very cool to kind of get that recognition after like years of making music by yourself. So
what was the signing? I don't know if it was I'm always fascinated by the moment you sign this deal, because that's a big deal for some artists. And I don't know if it was a digital signing, or if you sat in a room with a pen and a paper and they were champagne, or maybe you were on Zoom and nobody was there. What was the signing when you actually signed the deal?
I think like, you know, I was on Zoom with them, you know, when I was back in Korea. No champagne, but I should have done that. But I don't think there was like a moment where it was like properly like stamped. It's like, all right, you know, you're part of the team. But you know, we had like a lot of meetings, and you know, I felt like they were really interested in me, and I was obviously, you know, very fascinated with them. So
right.
I think after a couple of calls, we just kind of, you know, agreed. Or I might be wrong. I gotta ask Kev, but I think, you know, I think it just kind of happened like naturally. So
maybe a proper party is due at some point.
It
like,
is,
let's, you know,
it
well,
is.
kind of when with the CD, with the EP, the CD. I guess CDs still happen. Yeah.
Right.
You know, but with the EP out, maybe that's the celebration in itself.
Oh yeah,
You know.
I'm definitely buying a lot of alcohol, you know, on the way home today. But you know, thanks for putting that in my head, because I almost forgot. You know.
You know, that's what I do. I put bad things in your head.
No. It was
Hey, what artist? I mean, we were talking, you know, the Oasis. Just so, I mean, I'm just curious where your head's at as far as what you like. Oasis. You were talking a Jack White, you know, among others, White Stripes, the Racketeers. You know, who moves you from a like just as a fan?
You know, it's very difficult when I list these things, because I'm afraid that they're gonna, you know, like see it and be like,
But that would mean if they see it,
oh, actually,
I mean,
yeah,
maybe a collab kind of comes through or whatnot.
Oh
you know?
no! But just the fact that they know that I exist in the world is very,
Uh-huh.
you know, that's very flattering in itself. But I think Julian from the Strokes is probably like my number one like influence. I think
Wow.
his craft is amazing. Jack White too, and it's guys like that, like Dave Grohl. It's guys like, you know, I'm not saying you should have like multiple successful bands, but it's, you know, like Julian has like his solo album, he has the Voids, he has the Strokes, and Jack White has like White Stripes, Racketeers, that weather. Same with Dave Grohl. So I think it's people that are so that are just dying to create, because I think that's like proof, you know, like one successful band or one good album is just not enough for you, and you have to keep going. And it's like that mentality, I think, is very inspiring, you know, because I aspire to have like one album or one song that they wrote, but you know, here they are just continuing down that road.
Have you ever been to a show that moved you, not in a sad way, but just so powerful that it just about moved you, or maybe it did move you to tears? Like that just hit me so hard. Like, oh. Because for me, I mean, I'm a little older than you, or a lot older than you. When I saw Michael Jackson as a kid,
Oh wow.
I mean, I couldn't. It really propelled me to this entire career that I do.
Right.
And not that I don't sing, but it just hit me so hard. Like, this is something. It's just bigger than, you know. And what did you have one of those moments?
So I didn't get to see a lot of bands, you know, growing up. A good amount of bands came to Singapore, but I didn't get to go to, you know, all their shows. Not all the bands came to Korea, I think, but I saw Muse live, and you know, that was one of the moments where I was like, I can't believe, you know, I'm breathing the same air as Matt Bellamy. And I'm actually going to see the Strokes live in July, to Fuji Rock, like as just like a attendee. Like I bought tickets, you know.
Wow.
And I might cry then. I didn't cry at Muse, but I might cry at the Strokes concert.
You should work a couple of angles, 88 Rising. See if you can get like a little, you know, a little backstage photo op. You know, I mean, why not?
No, they're gonna be very embarrassed because
so
I'm
cool.
gonna get like an autograph and like tattoo it like that day.
I see your. By the way, I see your tats. And do you? Well, give me, cause
yeah, I have a lot.
give me. I'll show you a couple. I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
Oh, dude, just like let me just take my phone.
But I have. Well, speaking of
I
like
was
Michael
gonna
Jackson,
say, yeah.
I'm a big Michael fan, and that's Michael's logo where you see his toes, like
Oh, that's
popping on his
crazy.
toes. And I got a Captain EO right there, which is You know what Captain EO is?
No, I don't.
Captain EO it was a ride, or not a ride, but what do we call a ride? I guess at Disneyland, or what do you call it?
Yeah.
Like you'd go into a room and like a 3D kind of a thing, like a Star Tours. Or basically, for lack of a better word, Captain EO was a ride at Disneyland, and Michael performed this whole choreography, this whole piece, and special effects and whatnot. Well, it's not there anymore, but Captain EO was Michael's, you know, thing at Disneyland.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm a big Michael fan. So yeah, now's your turn. Show me some tats.
I like that you tattoo the things that you like because
Right.
that's exactly what I do.
What is this?
This is a heart in a cage, so you know it is again a Strokes reference. I have a really cool tattooist in Korea, so I just draw her like really bad pictures and she like refines it.
Right.
So you know I drew like a very bad picture of a heart and she's like, oh, this is what you want, you know, like she redid it, and you know,
I love tats with a story. You know, that's it. You know.
But you know, I never tattooed like, you know, say like my mom's birthday. I love my mom, but you know, like it's not stuff like that. Like this is Kurt's, you know, death letter. I don't know if you call it that, but you know, his like last letter before he killed himself.
No kidding.
That's like the first line of it. I also have this. People keep asking me. It's actually the cigarette burn from Fight Club. When Tyler goes like, and it's like right there, and like I explain it to them, they're like, that doesn't look like that, and I'm like, dude, it's already on my arm, man.
That's funny. Oh my god.
Yeah, I have a bunch of stuff like that, and then I have The Only Way Out Is Through. I have Hell. It's like numbers, but it's actually.
Can you guys see that? Can you see that? The only way out is through. I love text tats. My mind isn't. What is that from?
Oh, this is My Mind's an Awful Place. This is literally just me and like my iPhone memo. It's actually in the same font.
Right.
And so I have My Mind's an Awful Place where I can't see it. And then I could be all sad, but I have shit to do where, you know, I can see it.
Right.
And I pretend like it's very like philosophical, but it's not. And you know, this was like where I had room, so I just.
Why are tats so? I mean, I love your tats and I love the story.
No.
Why are tats so addicting?
I have no idea, but I remember this was like my first tattoo. It was very stupid, but I remember when I first got it, you know, I was like, all right, just maybe like 3. And then it became like one arm, and I was like, all right, just this arm. And now I have, you know, almost like, not full, but, you know, torso. I have a huge one on my back. And
right.
I'm planning on getting everything except my left leg now, so, you know.
So if all goes according to plan, you're going to have tats, left leg clean.
Hopefully, you know.
Is there a reason? Just you want the left leg, you want to have one spot that's not tatted?
It's like my consciousness, like, you know, I did make a promise. But, you know, I don't want like a lot of tattoos where you can't see like individuals. I still want to be able to, you know, like you know, like kind of explain it. But, yeah, so I have like a race flag here. So just a reminder for me to like speed. I drive. It's like I'm driving calm, and then I see it, I'm like, floor it, yeah. But yeah, so it's just, I don't put too much thoughts into it, but I think that's part of the charm. So,
dude, love it. By the way, you mentioned your birthday tat, or you don't have a birthday on you. I have my daughter's birthday here, and how it came in handy once. We were going to some place where she had to be she's 14, and you had to be 14 to get in,
Right.
and she didn't have an ID on her.
Oh wow.
And I was like, oh my God, we don't have the school ID. I said, well, and I showed them the
that's
tat.
like perfect proof.
And granted, that's not a legal document, but they took it as, well, why would her dad put the wrong birth date?
Right.
Which I don't know if that's still probably a bad idea for them to accept. I don't know, who knows?
No,
But it worked.
no, I mean that's very convincing. I would have been like, all right, like you just proved it to me.
Okay, so the bands you love, White Stripes, we're gonna put this out there, or Strokes. If you see this, at some point, you guys have to connect. And this is not the first time I've done things like this. Mm-hmm. I mean, LA is a crazy place where, people see it. People hear it in LA. And they live here, not all, but a lot of them live here. And good things are coming from this. It's out in the universe now.
I mean, I'm glad it's out there, but, I'll just get an autograph and maybe I don't know, follow you.
Yeah. Do you see any, have you seen any well, I guess you've only been here a couple of days and it's been raining, so you haven't bumped into any, famous.
Yeah, I don't think so. We didn't get to leave the house that often, during the day,
Right.
So it was just a lot of, but I did go to Sunset Marquis, and it was one of the wildest places. They have so many iconic photographs, and the bar was amazing. The bartender was super cool. He let us request songs. He was judgy at first. He was like, you better not play some I don't know weird track. But our buddy was like, can we get Insomniac from Green Day? And he was like, all right, go for it. And he just played it. It's very cool. But no celeb so far, I think. I mean, apart from you, obviously.
Well, I'm very, very famous. Hey, when I come to, we're visiting Seoul here in the near future. Mm-hmm. Maybe this December. If not, then shortly after. You've grown up in Seoul, or
partially. Yes.
You spent a fair. I should rephrase it. You spent a fair amount of time in Seoul.
Yeah.
You're probably like, it's just Seoul. It's just it's where I live at. No big deal. But it's a special place, clearly, and obviously with a lot of music exploding from Korea, there's a lot of attention on it. We're excited to go there. And what is there anything? First of all, when I come to Seoul, if you're around, I want to knock
I
on
would
your
love
door.
to. I'll pick you guys up from the airport.
Stop
no,
it.
for real. I'm not doing much in Seoul at the moment.
Well, I'll take you up on that. And what should we see in Seoul, or if we go to dinner, where can you take me to dinner at? We'll have 88 Rising Paper.
Right.
Great.
Oh, in that case, man, here's the most expensive spot. No, I think all the restaurants in Korea are very on point. There's a beef place. It's called Yeongcheon Yongwa. I'm gonna have to write
Yeah.
down, but it's open 24/7. It's very cool. A lot of people go there after drinking and stuff, but it's pretty famous for just good beef in general. Apart from that, maybe around Hannam. Hannam's a little area. They have a lot of cool little cafes and bars, and it's not too rowdy or anything.
I went through hell to find a guitar today at last second because I had to see you. I just want to see, So I want you to teach me one note, one anything. Oh! This amp looks kind of it's old, but it looks kind of cool, right?
Yeah, I don't know how to say.
Bergera?
I can hear the judgment, from all the guitar guys. You don't know.
And I can turn up the reverb button.
Yeah. It'll make it so it kind of resonates more when
there we
it
go.
You hear that
oh,
sound.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So here's reverb super cranked up. Where do you want it at?
No, it's yeah, see, I'm bad at this, so I always keep just pretty much everything in the middle.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, what can you give me can you give me a sample of one of your one of your tracks?
Yeah, it's
you have to do the whole thing,
okay, it's this is called Panic. It's something like that.
Yeah, do it. Man, it's just
the end bit.
It's just playing the guitar. I mean, did you take a lesson or did you just pick it up, just kind of? bang around with it till you figured it out, or?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had to convince my parents to, help me get one, and they were very against that. I think, growing up, my parents were very like conservative. I don't know
Right.
if that's it, right? But like so no piercings, no dyeing your hair, like not even like growing it properly. But yeah, so it took like a good 2 to 3 birthdays. I was just like skipping everything, like no Christmas, like nothing. Like I'm holding it, and then I got like $150 like guitar amp set. Everything comes with it, like guitar case, like strap,
Right.
and then you start to wonder like how much the guitar's worth, because it's like $150 and you just give you like everything. No, but I had that, and I didn't have like a proper T-shirt, but I had this guy because I used to go to the guitar shop all the time. Ran into this guy from like Malaysia, I think. He was very cool, and he taught me like a bunch of songs. Like he'd actually take time out of his day to just kind of teach me like a bunch of different songs, and I'd like have him hear it, be like, how do I play this? This is very cool.
So you just run into the store and kind of sit in the back of the store and kind of just run.
And just kind of like wait for the guy to show up. Like,
Dude. And does he still work there? Or?
No. I don't think he. I
Or
think
does
he
he
was.
still-
Yeah, I think he used to. He used to do like lessons there, but I never, was one of his students. So I actually just kind of catch him like coming off of work and just be like, yeah, you have a second. Like, I know that you're a busy guy, but how do you play like, Deep Purple or something?
I wonder if he has caught wind of what you're doing. I mean, maybe I don't know how tight the relationship was, but
Yeah, I mean, he liked the fact that I was very, into this whole thing. Like he liked that I was like very passionate. Yeah, I do wonder what he's doing like up to nowadays.
huh? And how long ago was that? When the last time you bumped into him and said, "Hey, teach me this or that"?
I think it was right until because I started, I bought my guitar when I was like 13. I think I ran into him last maybe like when I was like 15, and he just kind of like disappeared. I always wonder like where he went.
That's a cool story.
Yeah, like
you know?
I didn't even have his number or anything. I was like just nothing.
And don't if this is too personal, don't go there. But parents are conservative. A lot of parents are, and I get it. That's kind of how they were raised, and they want the best for you. Obviously,
Right,
that's
right,
kind of the way
right.
they see things. But sometimes when they see their son or daughter, do something they wouldn't have done themselves, but they go, oh my, okay, I kind of get it now. Have they hit that point yet or no?
So the
And
whole,
don't answer if it's
no, it's totally cool. So the whole thing was my dad was like, you still gotta go to college, because they spent all this time like like they sent me to Singapore, they sent me to like a school so I can learn English and this and that. So they were like, at least like prove to us that you tried, like enter college. You don't have to finish it, but like enter college because that'll be like your ticket,
Right.
Hey mom and dad, I tried. So that was the deal. So I went to college and I just stopped going. After like 30 days, I was like, I fulfilled my part of the deal and now I get to do what I want.
Fair enough. I bet if they're not already, I bet at some point they're gonna go, oh,
Oh, no, definitely. Even with like tattoos, like I got one, they're like, you better not. And then I got like, like a bunch more, and it got to the point where they're like, fuck it, they're like, all right, that's that. But yeah, I think they're very supportive now. I think they're very
Right.
happy that they were never about like pursuing like a proper career, quote unquote. They were more about like whatever it is, you better try hard. And
right.
in music, I think I did try harder than anything else.
Well, you said you went to college to learn English.
Oh no. I grew up like in Singapore, but I went to like an American school.
Oh, gotcha.
So they just wanted their effort to be worth it by going to college.
Gotcha. Man, well, I'm impressed. Everything I hope this goes the plans. Everybody has a plan, and it always deviates in some way. But I hope this goes as close to as what you are hoping as possible. And I think it's gonna. Man, you got such a cool vibe about you.
No, I appreciate that.
And okay, teach me one note, just one.
Okay, so
Like you be that dude at the guitar store. Like give me.
he was actually good.
Was he?
All right, so this is just this is like a cheat key, like
Okay.
a cheat code for guitars. It's called a power chord, right? So
It's called a what?
It's called a power chord.
Okay.
So this is like you just take one finger, you put it on the very bottom,
Okay.
and then you take the second finger and you just put it like 2 steps to the right. So it's like 1 3.
Okay.
And this is cool because within, the first 3 strings, you can play pretty much any chord with this. It's like all you have to do is just move your hand like within the same shape. It's like it all makes sense. So if you want to play like Green Day, it's like. But you literally need like 2 fingers, and that's it.
And that can get you started playing guitar, basically. And then you expand from there.
Basically, yeah. I mean, there's so many songs that are written in power chords. Not that it's like a bad thing or anything, but it's like very simple, straight to the point. Like just 1 and like 5 above, I think, theoretically. I don't know. But so it's just like, yeah, just.
Let me. Okay.
Yeah.
So, have you ever been on stage and like people jumping with guitars and just whack somebody? Has that ever?
I haven't. Oh, did I whack somebody?
Or either way, or you get whacked?
No, but I was very close in South by Southwest. My bassist, he. By the way, he is like the Asian version of Flea. I've said this on like every single like whatever, but people don't get it. They're like kind of like and then see photos. They're like, oh, we get it,
Hey, what color hair does he have?
He has like.
Is it blondish or?
Yeah.
Okay, I saw a picture on your IG. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one. That's the dude.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, he has that like very specific facial thing. So when we were like picking instruments, he was like, I want to be the drummer. I was like, dude, just play bass. Like, I don't, you don't get to say anything. You play bass. Like, you look like Flea. You play bass.
That's how you decide.
Yeah.
That's so good. Oh my God.
So yeah, it's just finger like that, and then just
those 2 fingers.
Just 2, and you just play those 2 strings.
Just these 2 strings. God, that sounds awful.
But you just like strike just the first 2. You try.
Just the first. How do you do this? The first. Hang on. So this one right here.
Yeah, and then you try to hit like the end of the fret. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Okay, God.
Yeah.
And that's okay. Here we go. And just these 2 is the only 2 I hit.
Yeah, and then see, like that's 2 chords.
Here's what that button does.
Yeah. It has to be like one more space apart. Yeah, like that. Yeah.
Any size hand can play guitar, right?
Yep. Unless I mean, some people have like really like Slash has like really big hands. But.
I met Slash a couple times.
For real?
Dude,
oh man, big fan.
He was. I was doing an interview with him, the Staples Center, but it's crypto now, but Staples Center at the time, and I think he was doing a gig with the Black Eyed Peas. They were playing at the Staples Center. We were across the street at this little plaza they have over there, and but he had to walk from Staples Center to me through a bunch of people.
Oh.
But he took his hat off because he's known for the hat, and it was the wildest thing. Nobody recognized him without that.
I was gonna ask, did he have the hat on?
Like, when you put the hat on, you're like, oh, it's Slash.
Right,
but when he
right.
had it off, everybody was kind of like, hey, that dude kind of looks. It's crazy because when you watch, are you familiar with the like Superman and whatnot?
Yeah.
Superman, I find it just ridiculous that when all he puts on is that little mask and nobody recognizes it as Superman. But
like Hannah Montana.
Yeah. Like how come on? But then I see Slash walk through a crowd. And the only difference in Slash, like recognize him and not, it was the hat.
The hat.
I don't know how.
It's a true story.
I don't know. Yeah, it's so wild,
No, but I think it's kind of like getting the best of both worlds, Like I thought, like Daft Punk is a genius, Like they can just kind of walk out of their show, not, without a fan crowd, unless they put it on.
Right. What else do I need to know? And fans, just getting a glimpse of you.
I'm very, neck deep into writing my second album. Obviously. Songs that are more intimate to me because I've written them very recently.
Right.
But from just this trip alone, like meeting great people like yourself and others has been so inspiring, and like to have all these opportunities and people kind of believe in what I do is very refreshing one, and like it's very like motivating. So I'll be, on the hustle or whatever when I go home, and I will write up a great album, hopefully. And, I'm just dying to have people get, I'm just dying to put more music out there. I'm dying to do more shows. Hella excited about Hitting the Clouds and, hopefully to come back here more often for different shows.
Good things coming, man. Put Up a Fight, of course. It's out. And like you said, new album you're working on. Yeah. Congrats.
Sorry to advertise the second album
No,
when the first one's coming out.
No. You know, it's cool that you're a writer, and that's what you do. You write constantly. And I think, you know, people like you, writers, if I come up to you any time of the day, any time of the year, you probably have just finished working on something, you're about to, you're a studio rat, or you're a studio rat, or writing.
Very, yeah.
What do you write in your? I'm sure you write multiple places. Do you write in your like a bedroom, or do you do it like in a studio? Or
yeah, so I have a studio inside the Black Label. I have my personal room with just, you know, drums, guitars, and whatnot. I'm gonna leave this as a
my gift.
No, as a sign, like I was here. No, as a gift, obviously. No, no, just like throw it in the trash when I'm gone.
Please.
But yeah, so I have the studio and, you know, all the equipment, like recording equipment. So I think I'm one of the few people at the company where I just pretty much record like by myself with just like an engineer. It's not like I prefer that, but my room is like a very private place, and I like how, you know, all the resources that I need are pretty much there. But nowadays, you know, I have the band boys coming in, so, you know, they're like earlier than me, and they kind of hassle me to come, like, yo,
right.
like we have jobs to finish. But I kind of like that, you know, it's very refreshing. It's a refreshing change from trying to motivate myself alone, because now I have like all these other responsibilities, and, you know, it feels great, yeah.
Well, things are about to get crazy in a hurry.
Very, very hopefully.
That's Loren. Where's the camera? That's Loren right there. And pleasure to meet you.
Thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. At the end of every interview, though, fist bump to make it official. Give me a little boom.